You mentioned the dimming. Let's just talk about that for a second, because every week we go, watch the dimming, watch the dimming. Can you actually tell people why they should watch the dimming, what's in the dimming, and slowly tell them where to find it? So it's important. I've seen it. It's important.
Thank you, Polly. It's irrefutable proof of climate engineering operations. No, this is not just jet exhaust, as we have coming from some sources that are trying to mask this issue, marginalize this issue. And unfortunately, we've had the same narrative even come out of this administration. That's very, very unfortunate. Whoever's feeding them their data again, and I would argue they're not allowed to say anything else. So we'll leave it at that. You're not a part of this kind of cabal without being beholden to this cabal. The ones we've been waiting for, we are the ones we've been waiting for. The only ones going to move this forward is us. But the bottom line is, again, the dimming and what it shows. Former U.S. Air Force generals acknowledging these operations. Former Canadian Minister of Defense acknowledging these operations. Former U.S. presidential cabinet members acknowledging these operations. Former government scientists acknowledging these operations. And these people are retired because otherwise they would not have been heard from or would have been incarcerated or worse very quickly, because there's an illegal federal gag order right now in all National Weather Service and NOAA employees, the nation's weathermen. Why would you gag the weathermen if you didn't have something huge to hide? And so we have the same kind of disinformation pushback on that point I just made. We have online sources claiming that's not true. There's no gag order on geoengineering. Of course there's not, just on geoengineering. Why would they put up a red flag like that? A gag order specifically for geoengineering would mean obviously geoengineering is going on. The gag order is on all agency operations, which includes geoengineering. Does that make sense? So we're playing a game of semantics. We have a lot of disinformation people online claiming it's just jet exhaust, and they're trying to refute this issue that anybody but the clinically blind can see, Polly. You don't have grid patterns in the sky one day, nothing the next, and X patterns, ovals, planes turning their transponders off, which only the U.S. military can do. Non-commercial flight paths. Again, we have up-close film footage of these aircraft nozzles visible turning on and off. It's happening, period.
All right, so everybody needs to be watching geoengineeringwatch.org to see the dimming and to keep up to date. You do up-to-date all the time, little segments, do you not?
I do. Our weekly broadcast, which we pay for out of pocket, no commercials, no advertising, non-political. We pay for that out of pocket on stations across the country. We try to locate them near military bases. That's a weekly update. Saturdays posted there. That's the good one-stop barometer of how bad it is. And yes, we do stay on top of all breaking weather events. We're about to have some hurricane information, Polly. That's coming. They've already scheduled Hurricane Aaron. And again, 10 days in advance, they seem to know what's going to form, what's going to happen. U.S. military's hurricane modification operations started in 1947. How far have they come since? And again, they can make or break these storms, and those that don't think they have that kind of sway over the weather system are simply wrong. The initial tests in 1947 were absolutely tiny compared to what they're doing now. Again, they dropped about 100 kilos of material into storm. Now they can drop 100 tons in a single payload, and with frequency transmission manipulations. These are all patented processes, Polly, and people are pretending this isn't going on. We're dealing with legislators across the country. Geoengineeringwatch.org. I'm on conference calls with legislators constantly that are trying to pass bans on these operations in their countries that are only symbolic, or in their state, excuse me. They're symbolic bans. They can't be enforced because this is Department of Defense operations. But it matters because it's putting this issue on the radar. So we are in constant communication with legislators across the country from many different states that realize the gravity and immediacy of this threat.
Dane Wigington, thank you for educating us. Thank you for sounding the alarm. And everybody has a duty to go to geoengineeringwatch.org, learn and do everything that Dane's just told us to do. Dane, we hope to have you back on soon. We actually do have, to our viewers listening, a very exciting segment coming up with Dane Wigington very, very shortly.
Thank you, Polly. My thanks to you and CHD for your help in this most critical battle.